Sometimes, in an epic as vast as the Mahabharata, there are warriors whose stories do not echo as loudly as their valor deserves. Their swords flashed like lightning on the battlefield, but their names faded into obscurity on the pages of history. In this chapter of the great warriors of the ages, today we are telling the story of a warrior who was Arjuna's beloved disciple. He was a blood relative of Krishna and an unwavering companion of righteousness. He was the hero whose bravery and martial skills left an indelible mark on the battlefield of the Mahabharata. He is the very warrior whose archery skills and strategies left even a master like Drona perplexed. This is the 9th chapter of the great warriors of the ages, Satyaki. Satyaki, also known as Yuyudhan, was a great Yadava chieftain. He belonged to the Vrishni clan of the Yadava lineage and was a close relative of Krishna as well as his devoted follower. His lineage was filled with glory. His grandfather Shali had once supported righteousness at Devaki's Swayamvara, and from that time onward, this family came to be known as the Sayani. That very tradition of the lineage continued up to Satyaki. In the grand epic of the Mahabharata, where heroes like Bhima, Arjuna, and Karna take center stage, great warriors like Satyaki have, in some ways, remained hidden. But if we look closely, Satyaki was among those rare warriors who demonstrated their talent not only on the battlefield, but also in administration, medicine, and strategy. Krishna was his blood relative and Arjuna was his teacher. That is why the two streams of righteousness and valor always flowed together in his life. His education was extraordinary. Dronakarya and Kripacharya taught him weaponry and strategy. He learned the intricacies of warfare from Bhishma. Arjuna imparted to him the profound knowledge of archery, and Krishna not only gave him divine weapons but also showed him the path of spiritual warfare. As a result of all this, Satyaki became such a warrior that he was given the title of Atirathi, meaning one who can face 12 charioteers alone. His speed, his purity, and his aim were said to be equal to Arjuna's. Even before the war of Mahabharata, Satyaki had already demonstrated his valor. He defended Dwarka from invasions, defeated many kings, and secured the borders of Krishna's kingdom. Not only that, when Krishna went to Hastinapur as a peace envoy, Satyaki accompanied him. It was he who exposed Duryodhana's plot and warned Krishna that there was an attempt to capture him. In Kurukshetra, Satyaki became the commander of an Akshauhini army on the Pandavas' side. His bravery shone through in the very first days. On the second day, he defeated Shakuni. On the 5th day, even while evading Drona's fierce attacks, he kept fighting relentlessly. But his true valor was revealed on the 12th and 14th days. On the 12th day, he stood before Dronakarya, and an event occurred that is known in the Mahabharata as the tale of the single-stringed bow. Satyaki cut Drona's bow 101 times in succession. Each time Drona picked up a new bow, and each time Satyaki's lightning-fast speed broke it. That day, the disciple showed his teacher that he stood as his equal. On the 14th day, when Arjuna set out to kill Jayadratha, Satyaki alone broke through that formidable force and accompanied him. On the way, he defeated Duryodhana, Dashashvam, and Somadatta's warriors, and in no time vanquished more than 10,000 charioteers. The battlefield trembled at his speed. That very day, he faced Bhurishravas. An old family feud came alive in that duel. Bhurishravas overpowered Satyaki and knocked him to the ground. And just then, Arjuna intervened and cut off his hand. Satyaki got up and in that very moment killed Bhurishravas. This incident is still remembered today in debates about dharma and adharma. Satyaki was skilled not only in warfare but also in administration and medicine. After the war, he joined the Pandavas in managing the administration of Hastinapur. He is also remembered for his knowledge of Ayurveda and surgery. He was an expert in ophthalmology and surgery, but his story did not have a happy ending. 36 years after the 18 days of the Mahabharata had passed, when Gandhari's curse befell the Yadu dynasty, Satyaki too was swept away in it. At Prabhasatirtha, intoxicated by wine and pride, he mocked Kritavarma and then, in a fit of rage, killed him. This very moment became the spark for the Yadavas' civil war. With iron clubs, they destroyed one another, and Satyaki, who had done so much for righteousness, was killed by the hands of his own brothers. Satyaki's story teaches us that true heroism is not just victory on the battlefield, but standing up for righteousness. He faced his teacher, upheld faith greater than relationships, and gave his life for righteousness. Satyaki's journey makes us realize that a warrior's true identity is not defined only by victory on the battlefield, but by the resolve with which he stood against injustice. He proved time and again in his life that righteousness is greater than relationships, and that loyalty is the truest definition of valor. But his story also warns us that when power loses restraint, it becomes the cause of destruction. Even though Satyaki's end came in tragedy, his loyalty and courage can still be heard in the heartbeat of time. And this is not just a story, it is a memory, a reminder that the Mahabharata is not only the saga of the Pandavas and the Kauravas, but also of the many warriors whose swords pierced through the darkness of history. There are more names hidden in the layers of history, whose swords silently paved the way for justice and whose stories still echo in the air. In the next chapter, we will meet yet another great warrior, whose tale reminds us that no matter how powerful injustice may be, the flame of truth can never be extinguished. Because these tales are not just echoes of a bygone era. These are immortal legends that must be retold in every age, and now the time has come to bring them to life once again.